I like what somebody said. Abortion doesn't make you free from a child or something like that. It makes you the mother of a dead baby. They don't want the mother to experience any of the pain that is associated with natural childbirth. In other words, a large baby being born out of them. They don't want them to go through that pain and disfigurement. So they go in and they literally cut the baby to pieces. There was a video come out in the 80s called The Silent Scream. And they had this guy who used to do abortions had an ultrasound videotape of a child being murdered in the womb. They were ripping this baby apart, and his mouth was opening as if he was screaming. I'm getting sick just thinking about this. But every baby in these abortion mills is ritualistically killed just like Dionysus is, because his body was pulled in pieces and ripped to shreds. So here's what Hall said. I have to pull this one up so I can read it here. He goes on to say the Bacchic rite centers around the allegory of the youthful Bacchus, who is Dionysus or Zagreus, being torn to pieces by the Titans. These giants accomplished the destruction of Bacchus by causing him to be fascinated by his own image in a mirror. After dismembering him, the Titans first boiled the pieces in water and afterwards roasted them. Pallas rescued the heart of the murdered god, and by this precaution, Bacchus, or Dionysus, was enabled to spring forth again in all his former glory. Jupiter, the demiurgus, beholding the crime of the Titans, hurled his thunderbolts and slew them, burning their bodies to ashes with heavenly fire. Out of the ashes of the Titans, which also contained a portion of the flesh of Bacchus, whose body they had partly devoured, the human race was created. Thus the mundane life of every man was said to contain a portion of the Bacchic life. Now you've heard me in what I've taught about that, but it's basically what's going on in every Planned Parenthood, every abortion mill anywhere in the world is the Bacchic ritual, the Dionysus ritual. The tearing to pieces of the dying god that somehow empowers and will empower the future resurrection of the beast in the last days. And when Planned Parenthood made this video, the spirit that works in them gave them the name of the god to put on this superhero lady. That's obvious to me. These people were inspired by devils to make this video the way they did and to use this name. I sat there watching, stunned, when they said Dionysus, because I knew it's about ripping these babies all apart. These people are performing rituals. They're Satanists, is what they are. And no, I'm not going to go and tell everybody to blow up an abortion mill to put a stop to it. God's going to do it. God is going to do it. Look at what God said about his enemies. You'll get the picture here. 1 Samuel 2. The adversaries of the Lord shall be broken to pieces. Out of heaven shall he thunder upon them. The Lord shall judge the ends of the earth, and he shall give strength unto his king and exalt the horn of his anointed. You know what they're because these people are doing this to the innocent, they are the enemies of God. And if you remember in Revelation 13 concerning the beast and all those he conquered, John said, have patience, saints, because he who lives by the sword shall die by the sword. And understand that those who practice these rituals in these abortion mills, Planned Parenthood, and everybody who votes for them, you see, I just think you ought to vote right, is what I think. But these people who perform these rituals, and I'm going to take back that thing about voting for them. I can't say that, because sometimes people are they get fooled, and I understand that. But the people who practice these rituals, the people who perform these things, unless they give their life to the Lord and repent of these things, they are the enemies of God, and this is what God's going to do to them. It's very plain in the Scriptures. Let me show you another one. 1 Samuel chapter 15. Then said Samuel, Bring ye hither to me Agag, the king of the Amalekites. And Agag came unto him delicately, and Agag said, Surely the bitterness of death is past. You know what he was doing? He was saying, come on, let's just forget about this. It's over with. Now let's look at what Samuel said. My jaw dropped down to my feet when I saw this. And Samuel said, As thy sword hath made women childless, so shall thy mother be childless among women. And Samuel hewed Agag in pieces before the Lord in Gilgal. My jaw dropped when I saw what Samuel said, As thy sword hath made women childless. Because of what you done, Agag, we're going to cut you in pieces. 1 Kings chapter 18. Let them therefore give us 2 bullocks, and let them choose. See, a bullock is a picture of the beast. Let them choose 1 bullock for themselves and cut it in pieces and lay it on wood and put no fire under, and I will dress the other bullock, lay it on wood and put no fire under. A bullock is a picture of the beast. He's cut in pieces and then he's burned. Psalm 50 verse 22, Now consider this, ye that forget God, lest I tear you in pieces and there be none to deliver. Psalm 72:4, He shall judge the poor. Listen to this one. He shall judge the poor of the people. He shall save the children of the needy, and he shall break in pieces the oppressor. Did you get that, Planned Parenthood? Did you get that, Margaret? You hate these people. You hate these blacks, these Hispanics, these mongrel humans. You hate them. They disgust you. So you purposely went into poor neighborhoods and put in Planned Parenthood places to kill off the little black children in the slums and the ghettos. Simply because they were discolored. They had a different color, and simply because they were poor. They weren't like you, Hillary. And God said, I'm going to judge the poor. I'm going to judge them. And I'm going to save the children of the needy. And he's going to break in pieces the oppressor. Psalm 89:10. Thou hast broken Rahab in pieces as one that is slain. Thou hast scattered thine enemies with thy strong arm. Notice the judgment of God, scattering and breaking in pieces. Isaiah 13, this is Babylon. Isaiah 13 is the burden of Babylon. Their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes. Their houses shall be spoiled and their wives ravished. It's a judgment of God. Hosea chapter 13 verse 16. Samaria shall become desolate, for she hath rebelled against her God. They shall fall by the sword. Their infants shall be dashed in pieces, and their women with child shall be ripped up. You know what that is? Abortion. Jeremiah 50 verse 2, declare ye among the nations, and publish and set up a standard. Publish and conceal not. Say, Babylon is taken, Bel is confounded, Merodach is broken in pieces. Her idols, like Dionysus, Merodach, her idols are confounded, her images are broken in pieces. Hosea 8:6, for from Israel was it also, the workman made it. Therefore it is not God, but the calf of Samaria shall be broken in pieces. And that idea in Hosea 13 is prophecy about the Antichrist, the beast. Their infants shall be dashed in pieces, and their women with child shall be ripped up. I submit to you that the abortion industry in this country and the abortion scar, the scourge, the disease, the corruption that abortion is in this country and what Planned Parenthood represents is nothing more than the judgment of Almighty God upon this nation, and it's not going to wait. Listen, we're not going to elect the president who's going to get in all the right Supreme Court justices to overrule Roe versus Wade. It's not going to happen. There is too much spirituality involved. Devils will absolutely go crazy if we outlaw and illegalize abortion once again in this country because of the depths that it represents. And I would say that because of the depths of sin that this country is already in, we are doing nothing but receiving the just reward for our transgressions in this country. The idea that God promised that our babies would be broken in pieces and our wives would have their childs ripped out of them, that's abortion. Plain and simple. We're getting what we got coming in this nation. I know it's not me, and I know it's not you, and I understand that. But as far as the nation itself goes, the country, we reelected Barack Obama, for crying out loud. God's turning this nation over to the spirit that now worketh in the children of disobedience. So then they can come out brazenly and admit in their promotional video, we're honoring the god Dionysus who was broken in pieces. And we can't wait for a day where he is resurrected and becomes our God. We can't wait for it. That's what they're doing. Christian nation, not anymore. As long as there's still some Christians here, there's a chance that maybe some other people will be Christians. But our voting machines are not going to save this country anymore. Only God can do that. We need prayer. Let's see here. Do we have any emails? Anybody bother to write me today? Let's see here. I decided to start pulling these up on my tablet. You see the light here. Ooh. Let's see here. Robert says, great shows, Mike, but just wanted to pass on that the few times I've been able to catch your online shows through sermon audio, agree with most of your commentary. The only thing I question is the aim at President Obama. For everything like Fox News, etc. does, this whole U.S. versus them isn't working too much with a lot of voters in America today. It is us versus them. It is American citizens versus lobbyists of both parties. I'm a Christian conservative, and for me, a continuing growing group of young voters, military, etc., of all ages, Ron Paul and his freedom and liberty fight is the only way. And I disagree with that. And until Ron Paul establishes the idea that he should not curse Israel, I can't vote for him either. And, Robert, I appreciate what you're saying. I'm going to go against Barack Obama for every stupid, unbiblical, wicked thing that he says or does. I'm going to, and I'm not going to let up. And I've just said that I don't think that us getting... if you put Ron Paul in the White House, somebody would shoot him before too long, because he wants to end the Fed. He wants to end the Federal Reserve. He wants to do away with that. I'm all for that. But it won't happen. It will not happen. I remember going to the first Tea Party meeting in St. Louis, and there was guys out there saying, hey, there's a House bill saying we're going to audit the Fed. Sign this petition. Man,